Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Kidda guys, how's it going, Hannah? So, I've been in the Sikhi scene, since my early 20s. I'm bloody 44 now, nearly 45 in a few months. So, I've seen a lot. There's an argument that I haven't heard. I've been in plenty beefs. We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be born. We would have made it to Sachkhand, innit? We would have made it back to Akal Purakh Waheguru, Hannah? But we're here. We're in the game of reincarnation, Hannah? So we'll probably get reincarnated again. Because this Maya, this illusion, this falsehood, this hologramic play of elements, it keeps us trapped in the bondage jaw. It's very powerful. Hannah? It's ups and downs, snakes and ladders, backs and forths, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're on a good spree, then sometimes the dark side takes over, you know what I mean? You just keep jumping the norm, doing the Bani. Do Prema Bhakti, not mechanical, mathematical Sikhi. Prema Bhakti, contemplate the Bani, contemplate the mantras you're doing, know what they mean. Do it with love. You really need that yearning that you want to get back, you've had enough. Those that are going through a lot of pain, they don't want to suffer again. This is why Maharaj says pain is the remedy, because that pain pushes you towards, your goal is to get back to Gopura, because that pain, you don't want to suffer pain in another reincarnation or incarnation, Hannah? So this is why Maharaj says those that enjoy the Maya, going around intoxicated, sleeping around, enjoying it, all these worldly pleasures, they never think about Rab. That's the disease. Naam is the medicine, Hannah? So I'll talk about my early days in the Sikhi journey. You come into it, this rayat, that rayat, this rayat, that rayat. Different people tell you different rayats. Some are vegetarian, some are meat eaters. Some say dancing's wrong, some say dancing's fine. Some say this, some say that. Hannah? When I first got into it, my views were quite extreme. I didn't go to my cousin's weddings because of dancing, music, this and that. And because people tell you, dancing's wrong, or this is wrong, that's wrong. And, the early days, you look at our Guru Sikhs, or so-called Guru Sikhs, anyone can look the part, but be the part is different else, something else, Hannah? In your journey, you may find that you thought someone was like a proper Guru Sikh, and then you realize, they're a con. But anyway, that's another subject for another day. But they tell you this, that you haven't read the Bani yourself, Hannah? When you read the Bani yourself, different Jathe will tell you different meanings and interpretations of Bani. Like the missionaries, some of them will say there is no Jamdut, it's metaphoric, just to scare you. The Taksalis will say there is a real Jamdut, it exists. So people interpret the meanings of Bani differently. That's how divided the Panth is. Really, there's one Guru, one message, one truth. A lot of the Bani is done in metaphors, poetic terms, and the words, you have to know the background Sakhi sometimes, or you have to know the context. Just say you can pull out a quote against dancing, and you think it applies to all dancing, but Maharaj is talking about, when he talks about don't fast, don't do yoga, don't dance, these are in the context of these ain't gonna get you to Waheguru. But fasting is good for reversing diabetes, it's good for reversing metabolic syndrome. Yoga might be needed to rehabilitate your injury. It's good for keeping your body supple, and some strengthening exercises. There's all different types of yogas. It's not just tantric yoga, and obviously tantric yoga is a bit weird. And that's why yoga gets a bad name. You know what I mean? It keeps buddhya moving and stuff. Now it's getting banned in Gurdwara because people have misinterpreted the yoga shabads. It's all misinterpretations and not being balanced in the context of the shabads. And like dancing, if you don't, these are just examples. There's no harm in having a little dance with your mates, if it's not dirty dancing or anything like that. If it's dirty dancing, strip bars, sexual dancing and all that, that's wrong. Dirty Ghana and all that's wrong. But back in the days, and Punjabi culture, utte gidda pondiya si tolki naal, the munde pangre ponde si separately with the tol, It wasn't like this day and age. where there's dirty tunes and about drinking, sex, and all that, and all in the same building, women and men, shameless lyrics and stuff. It wasn't like that. So I can understand why things are against the modern day dancing. I get it. So you have to be balanced. Can't go to extreme. Sometimes there is no black and white. There's grey areas. Like me, I'm on strong medication because of my condition. Hana? Now, if I didn't have this condition and I took these medication which have methadone, which is a form of opium, I can't live without it, to be honest, because it's just too painful, unbearable. Yeah, and my anti-spasm medicine, which is, relaxes the muscles and reduces the pain. I've tried to get off it because it was making me drowsy. Sometimes I do these talks and you can tell I'm drowsy. Or when I do lives and that, because I have the medication 4 times a day, so it's drowsy. So I couldn't live without it. Chalo karam bog de, Maharaj has what written in your destiny. All the energy you've put out in your last life, this life, it comes back to haunt you. So let's look at these other views. Some people are anti-Shastra, anti-Karpan, and these are Sikhs. I'm very pro-Shastra because when I was younger, I grew up in a rough area where you had to have Shastra on you. Every time the cops took my Shastra when I was 20, it felt like someone had raped me, violated me. I felt naked without it them days, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm disabled, I'm old, I've got white hair, I'm living a different life now. But them days, if I didn't have my Shastra on me, I wouldn't be here now, But same as Brathan Singhs, they never gave their Shastra up, never, because they saw it as their ang, it was their limb. It wasn't there for cutting prashad or some ceremony, it was there for practical. Everything Sikhi to me is just practical. You have to be practical in life. Do you know what I mean? So, you hear things will say, don't hit from behind, don't hit them unarmed, let them hit you first. These are unpractical stuff. When we went to war when we was younger, we had gang beefs. If we lived by these rules, we wouldn't survive. Never would survive. Yeah, we'd be dead. The enemies would always win. Because when it comes to real life, it's a survival, it's practical. You got to be practical. A lot of things live in fantasy. When they talk about Natem, which means civilians, this is in context to, in the battle times, forged armies used to ransack towns and kill innocents, civilians, Nahate. But if someone's a rapist, you're not going to arm them first, then say have a first shot or first knife stab at me, or not get them from behind. You're actually more likely to survive when you punish someone if you do them from behind. Don't arm them and don't let them hit first. It's common sense. But logic and common sense seems to be going in the bunt. Now we've got the E squared fella. His view is you should have sex before marriage, experiment sex around. You know what I mean? My understanding on Barney, well, people will say, what's that's your understanding. But my understanding on Barney, just logic, read, common sense. I would not be telling my daughter and son, go sleep around, experiment, get the maximum body count, enjoy yourself, you're gonna get married and tied down. It's just not logical. It's just not, is it? We believe in honor, self-respect, dignity, purity, you know what I mean? And Maharaj's Bani tells us to keep our calm in check. It's for procreation, really, huh? Back in the days, procreation, they used to have 10 kids. So the procreation period in a marriage was years and years. A lot of kids died and they didn't know about ovulation period and stuff like that. So, it took time to get, women didn't just get pregnant straight away. Do you know what I mean? Now we know more scientific what days to procreate or whatever. People can, get pregnant a bit more easier, if they got a healthy lifestyle and this and that and all that. And they're young and not intoxicated all the time, because alcohol and stuff, it weakens your man's sperm and stuff, and bad diets, processed foods, and lack of movement, exercise. This is why some people are having problems, getting their missus pregnant, and some women, they're not in great health, so their eggs ain't healthy as well. So lifestyle needs to change. So then you'll have people saying gay and garages. In my early days, they were gonna start gay and garages in London, and that me and my crew, we went there, we put a stop to it, you know what I mean? And because man and woman, not man and man, not woman and woman, it's lock and key, you put the key in the lock and you open the door, and that's how the key and lock works. So, Jello, there's homosexuality is in the world. God made it. Some people say it's a choice. Some people say it's hormone imbalance. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not Paramatma. Some people can choose to be gay. When they go to prison, they become gay, and they've never done any gay stuff outside of prison. Some people if they do gay acts, homosexual acts for porn industry money, and in their private life, don't do them acts. So sometimes it's a choice. I've heard even people say, "Look, I don't want to be gay. I hate it, but my body, my hormones, I'm just attracted to the same sex." Huh? But so these rare issues are always gonna be there, you know. Obviously, people say, "Oh, soul marries the soul." Then Lava is not about soul and soul; it's about your soul and Paramatma. Paramatma is a husband. We are the soul brides. This Lama saying that man and woman become one and all that is all bullshit. It's not. It's not true. Anand is your marriage with Paramatma. You know what I mean? Man and woman can never become one because they're gonna die. They're gonna go their separate ways. If both man and woman become Brahmajnani and they both merge with Paramatma, then yeah, then all three become one. That's very rare because this game is very hard and not many people are interested in the Naam, Brahma Bhakti. It's such a hard battle that, you know, 1 in a million makes it, you know, back to Paramatma. But you can make it. You gotta try to make it, you know. When it comes to tuition, degrees, we try to make it, try our best. We say, give it our best. We spend hours and hours. When it comes to Sikya, Naam, the exam of life, we don't try our best, you know. You will relapse on some stuff, you know. You will sin. You will make mistakes. But make that, you know, pick you up, make you stronger and carry on again. So basically what I'm trying to say is there's grey areas. Keep a balanced mind. The main thing is be nice to people, be good to people, you know what I mean? Yes, you got to call some stuff out because some stuff is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like singing your own hot pants and stuff like that. You have to call some stuff out. Some stuff we can't control. It's all out of control. We should have stopped it. There come guard tattoos on the hands. People wash their ass with that. There's so much stuff that we should have stopped when we had the chance. You know, if we let hot pants and bikinis on singing become a thing, then it's gonna become the norm. Now it's abnormal. Only one or two have done it, yeah. And while it's abnormal, we can try and stop it. But once it becomes a norm, it's very hard to stop. Like everyone wears the career and drinks and smokes. It's normal. You try to tell people and say, "What's wrong with you? You've gone mental." People have sex before marriage. It's normal now. Try to tell people keep it easy. What is it? What are you on about? This is normal, man. We're having fun. We're having a good time. What are you on about? You old fart. You know what I mean? You traditional. That's the dinosaur age. Every time I talk, I say to people, keep your izzat, self-respect, stay away from the shit, train, eat healthy, job the norm. People think you're boring. They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? But it's all fudge to tell people, but don't be judgmental and stuff when you tell people. But I was back in the days, I ain't gonna lie. When I first got into Sikhi, I was like, everyone's a sellout. Fuck this, I ain't going here, I ain't going there, I ain't doing this. But keep a nice balance. Keep it real. You know what I mean? Keep it soldier as well. You know what I mean? Like when I mean soldier, like stick up for yourself. Don't let no one bully. You might not have the guts to help other people and sacrifice the life of other people like Guru Tegh Bahadur. That's fine. It's very hard. You have to have quite a good Jivan to do that. And it takes a lot of balls and it takes a lot of sacrifice and selfless service type of person to do that. Okay, this bunch Jord, they go away with Kirpa. You know, it's not easy, huh? Anyway, take care guys. Respect.